Hey guys, what is going on? I hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here, welcome back to The Fragrance Well. So what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about simple fragrances. Simple, but also very, very good fragrance. Just because a fragrance comes off as being simple, and when I say simple, I mean it's featuring maybe 1, 2, 3 key notes and all the other accords, if there are any other accords listed for the fragrance, which there typically are more accords in the fragrance than what is actually listed. They just feature those 3 notes, no more than 3. That's what I would call a simple fragrance. It's focusing on 1, 2, or 3 specific fragrance notes. And with all that being said, that can still make an amazing fragrance. As a matter of fact, the fragrances I'm featuring in this list today, if I were rating them on Fragrantica, all of them but one I would consider fragrances I love. The other one I would consider a fragrance that I like. So let's get into it. I got 8 of them starting right now. 8 simple but good fragrances. All right guys, let's go ahead and get this started. So the first fragrance is coming from the house of Acqua di Parma. This is Fico Di Amalfi. Acqua di Parma, Fico Di Amalfi. So, what's this fragrance about? Fig. Yeah, it's fig. It's like watery fig. That's all it is. There's some supporting woodiness and there's like things like jasmine in this. There's bergamot, there's lemon to give it a little bit more of a pop, but in terms of what you really are smelling, the essence of what you're smelling nothing but fig. You know, that's really what this entire line, the Blue Mediterranean line from the house of Acqua di Parma, is all about, is taking something that is simple and expressing it in one fragrance, even though that's not the only thing that's in the fragrance. This is really a great line overall for that purpose. All of them are great for the warm weather. That's kind of the whole reason for the line. I forget the name of the line that's in the black bottles, something with the sun or something like that. Some of their fragrances are like that, but not all of them. All that being said, this is one of the most popular fragrances from that line. It's all about watery fig. Great fragrance. I love wearing this for the summertime. Once again, this is Fico Di Amalfi. Simple, but great. Okay guys, so the next one's coming from the house of Amouage, which is not a house you typically think of as putting out simple fragrances, but to me this one is very specific in what it does. This is Portrayal Man. Amouage Portrayal Man. This is a recent pickup of mine and it quickly became one of my favorite Amouages in my collection. So this primarily is violet leaf. You're also gonna get some kind of green accords, but I don't even consider that one of the characteristics of the fragrance. It's violet leaf, amber, and cade oil. Even the listed accords for this fragrance is very minimal. What is it? Violet leaf, I think there's juniper, vetiver, which I think the vetiver is more of a supporting note in this fragrance. I don't really get a lot of vetiver, and I know on the website they definitely pointed out cade oil, which I definitely get quite a bit of that. But the fragrance overall is rich, it's dense, but it's actually quite simple. But man, is it so good. Now this is not for everyone. You definitely have to like violet leaf and you have to like leathery, deep, really full fragrances. This one's very forward in what it is. Now, as it dries down, it really dries down to a very simple amber, and it actually is not a beast mode fragrance. You know, a lot of Amouage fragrances are known for having that beast mode like performance characteristic, but this one, once it kind of dries down, it actually fades kind of quick. It lasts a long time, but on the dry down, it gets very close to the skin and then just kind of fades away. But while it has that violet coming forward and that cade oil and that amber, it's in your face. I love this fragrance. Very interesting fragrance, just not for everyone. Simple but great. Amouage Portrayal Man. All right, so this next one, it has been described as many things, but I don't know if anyone's ever called it simple, but it is a simple fragrance from the house of Dior. Dior Homme Intense. Don't come at me. Dior Homme Intense, great fragrance. Many consider it one of the best fragrances ever created, but it is a simple fragrance. They took what was great about the original Dior Homme original, took the very specific things from it, mainly the iris, and just ramped it up and made a richer, simpler version of that fragrance, which is often done with flankers where the concentration is higher. So you definitely get the iris, You get a lot of ambrette seed, which if you kind of do any research on what ambrette seed smells like, it's kind of a cross between musk and amber and can have a little bit of sweetness. Definitely get that characteristic in here. And I get a good dose of patchouli as well because this has a chocolatiness to it. So iris, ambrette, and patchouli. Simple fragrance. It's not trying to do a million things at once. It's just taking very key things and doing it very, very well. More of a cool weather fragrance. Many people call it a very formal fragrance. This one can kind of be weird to pull off in a variety of situations, so it's not versatile, but man is it good. I like it so much, I find reasons to wear this fragrance, and if I am going to a formal occasion, unless I'm just not in the mood for iris that day, I try to wear this one as much as possible. Great fragrance. I don't have to talk too much about it. It's been talked about to death. It's gonna keep getting talked about to death because it, in my opinion, it is one of the best designer fragrances ever created. Dior Homme Intense. All right, guys, so the next one's coming from the house of Etat Libre d'Orange or Eldo. This is You or Someone Like You. Etat Libre d'Orange, You or Someone Like You. So what is this fragrance? This is mint and musk. That's it. It's got some green accords to kind of give it a little bit more of an edge, in my opinion. The mint is very realistic, so it gives it a slight edge over a lot of mint fragrances because sometimes that mint just comes off smelling like toothpaste. But yeah, that's all this is. It's mint and a pretty deep musk. Great, invigorating, lively, pleasant fragrance, you know, meant to it's kind of a mood lifter, if you will. Great for the warm weather, obviously. Not a beast mode scent by any stretch of the imagination. A good morning fragrance, in my opinion. But it does what it does very, very well. It gives you mint, basically like crushing mint in your hands and smelling it in your hands. That's what the mint smells like. And just good musk to give you that sexy cleanliness on the dry down. Although this one doesn't come off that way too much because of all the green accords that are supported. When I need my mint fix, this is one of the ones I am very happy to grab. Once again, this is You or Someone Like You. Simple, but good. All right, guys, so moving on. The next one's coming from the house of Mason Francis Kirkjohn. This is Grand Soir. Mason Francis Kirkjohn Grand Soir. So why is this one on the simple list? Well, because it is basically a dusty, incredibly sweet amber and vanilla. That's it. Very simple fragrance, but boy is it good. One of the most popular from the house. I don't know if I'd call it the best from the house, but it's up there. For the majority of the time you're wearing this scent, that's exactly what you're getting, is that sweet, resinous, sticky, ambery smell with a little bit of a kind of a spicy dustiness to it. Once it gets all the way into the dry down, it's basically vanilla. Great cool weather scent. That vanilla will stay on your skin for I don't know how long. It's just a very good, warm and inviting fragrance, and it does something very specific, but it does it extremely well. Once again, MFK Grand Soir, amber and vanilla. Can't really go wrong there. Simple, but good. Okay, moving on. Next one's coming from the house of Initio Parfums. This is Blessed Baraka. Initio Parfums, Blessed Baraka. Now this one is also primarily amber, but it is not resinous like Grand Soir is. But yes, this is amber, very sweet amber, vanilla with a kind of a sweet woodiness to support it. Also a little bit of musk. Honestly, when I was putting this list together, I didn't even process the fact that, you know, this and Grand Soir are basically featuring the same thing, but they don't smell alike. So that was the kind of the thing that was going through my mind. But I do know they are both what I would consider simple fragrances. But that being said, I think this fragrance smells amazing. Like I said, it doesn't have that rich syrupiness that Grand Soir is, so I don't think of them as being the same thing. But yeah, this is all about amber and vanilla and a good amount of musk to go with it as well. Another good cool weather scent, kind of good for the fall, night out. Definitely wouldn't wear it during the day to work. It's just not the kind of attitude I would go for, but great quality scent. Simple but good. Initio Parfums, Blessed Baraka. Check it out if you haven't. Okay guys, so the next one's coming from the house of Victor and Rolf. This is Spiecebomb Extreme. Victor and Rolf Spiecebomb Extreme. So, I mean, obviously, it's called Spiecebomb. It has spices to it. I gotta spray it. Make this entire room smell like Spiecebomb. Yep, so anyway, what is this fragrance? It's a bowl of spices and vanilla. That's it, nothing else. But boy, does it smell good. Yeah, once those spices kind of fade away on the, hang on, Never seen that before. The entire top is moving. Interesting. Once the spices kind of fade away and you get deep into the dry down, all you're really left with is a very subtly spicy black bean vanilla. So the fragrance in essence is very simple, but man, is it good. Attention grabbing, very warm and inviting, very sexy fragrance. Obviously a wintertime staple in the community. Definitely a testament to a fragrance that is only doing a couple of things, but it's doing it very well. Once again, from Victor and Rolf, this is Spiecebomb Extreme. Okay guys, and on to the final fragrance. This one's coming from the house of Givenchy. This is Pi. Givenchy Pi, a fragrance of yesteryear that is still hanging around. So this one, yeah, I gotta spray this one too, hang on. Room's gonna be very fragrant. So this one is featuring a note that is often paired with vanilla, but we haven't talked about it on its own. This is purely benzoin. I've had the pleasure of smelling benzoin in its raw oil form, as well as just in its raw form, and that's what this fragrance smells like. There's things like pine in this. I think there's a note of orange as well. These things just give it a little bit of a pop to it, so it's not too warm and too smooth. But yeah, this fragrance is purely benzoin. I gotta be honest, I'm surprised this fragrance is still hanging around. It's very unique compared to what is offered on the market today. You definitely don't see fragrances featuring benzoin in this way. I think it's a very interesting fragrance. I would have loved to smell Pi Extreme. I don't know if you can still get that. Honestly, I haven't looked, but I'd be curious to see, assuming they, basically use it as a true flanker to this, I'm curious to see what else they did with that benzoin accord. This one's good for a night out, good date night. It's a very cozy, kind of close fragrance, so it's not gonna be very loud, so it's not something you wanna wear if you're gonna be competing with a lot of other sprays or you're trying to draw attention to yourself. This is one meant to reel people in, not, project across the entire room. Very unique fragrance that you can get today for not a bad price. Once again, this is Givenchy Pi. Simple, but good. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. That was 8 fragrances that I think are simple, but very, very good. Let me know some of your favorite fragrances that have a very simplistic nature to them, but they are just really good quality and they do what they do very well. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.